Hello and welcome back to Match Week Breakdown. We are on Match Week 2, actually. And this match week feels like it's gone really quick, and I'm actually not sure why. Um, there was quite a few goals, some very boring games, actually none that were nil-nil, which is a good sign, because last week there was a nil-nil and it was overly boring. There was actually more than one nil-nil. But anyway, I'm gonna stop rambling. I've been rambling for 30 seconds, and that's too much because we need to get through games. So like last week, we're gonna go in match order. I'm gonna explain everything that happened, so you all know what happened. If you missed any of said games that I'm gonna be talking about here today, right now. So the first game was West Ham versus Chelsea, and I think it's fair to say that Chelsea absolutely slaughtered West Ham in this game. And I think that if we had to bet on any manager right now to get sacked first, I think Graham Potter is top of that list. Because following on from this game and last week's game and then yesterday's game in the Carabao Cup, it's getting embarrassing if I'm completely honest. And he hasn't been in the job for awfully long, but it is getting bad. It's getting really bad. Um, there was one positive in this game, and that was Lucas Paqueta's opener in 6 minutes. And to be fair to Lucas Paqueta, it was an absolute banger he scored. Um, but other than that, nothing really to take away. 5-1 to Chelsea, with João Pedro getting a goal and two assists, which is always a good sign. Um, yeah, always a good sign for any player, to be fair. So goals are scored by Lucas Paqueta, and then the five Chelsea goals were scored by João Pedro, Pedro Neto. Wow, yeah, João Pedro and Pedro Neto. Damn, that's cool. João Pedro, Pedro Neto, Enzo Fernandez, Moises Caicedo, and then Trevor Chalobah to score the final goal of that game. Now, if you look at Chelsea currently, their pre-season, in my opinion, was a very, very good one. And I feel like most people would agree with that. They had a very good pre-season. They looked good, they looked organised, they looked ready for this Premier League season. And this game kind of proved that they are going to have a good season. 5-1 away from home, and like London Stadium obviously isn't a fortress, but still, winning 5-1 away from home is not the easiest thing to do. Um, but they did it in style. Now, obviously, for many Chelsea fans, it's not going to be a good thing to say this, but Cole Palmer obviously got injured in the warm-up leading up to this game, and they had to put Stavio in for him, and he got an assist, which isn't going to fill the Cole Palmer boots because that's very difficult to do. But it is a good sign that Chelsea have quality in their depth. Estavio obviously played against Chelsea and scored against Chelsea, which is always a good thing when you're signing a player that's going to come. But yeah, I think Chelsea showed class and they showed that they're ready to keep going this season. And I'm interested to see how their season goes. I honestly think that they're going to be in the top four. I honestly do think that they're going to be in top four. Um, Now, obviously, there was a goal that was ruled off for offside, and that was from Nicholas Fulkrug that really didn't do well for my fantasy team. But that's fine. We'll get on to FPL later in this episode because why not? You know what I mean? Always a good thing to talk about FPL. But yeah, Chelsea 5, West Ham 1, absolute thrashing of a game. Next is Manchester City and Tottenham Hotspur. Um, 2-0 Tottenham. And I'm not gonna lie to you, they look very, very good this season. Now, I said this last week, obviously, when they meet Burnley, but it is Burnley, so you can't get your hopes too high. But this was against a team that I thought would be challenging for the title, and obviously they might still be. It's match week 2. We don't know how the rest of the season's gonna go, but Spurs, and it's annoying for me to say this as an Arsenal fan. If you didn't know, I'm an Arsenal fan, by the way. Um, it's annoying for me to say this, but Spurs do look like they could possibly challenge for the title, and that is horrible to say. But they just look classy. For João Paulinia's goal, I don't know what Trafford was thinking, because their Spurs' high press was so good, and to catch the defender out, Pape Sarr is one of, I don't know if I agree with the statement that I'm even about to say, but I could say he is one of the best youngsters in the league right now, because he is still young. He's 21, and his high press against Spurs to cause, not against Spurs, he wasn't against Spurs. His high press for Spurs against Man City for the second goal was absolutely incredible. Yeah, and Brennan Johnson scored as well, which is fantastic to know as an Arsenal fan. Um, but yeah, I genuinely think Spurs could challenge for the title. They look dangerous as well. I'm sorry, like, they just look dangerous. They look like, I don't know, I don't even know what they look like. They look like they've rejuvenated in some way, and how Thomas Frank has brought them from the depths of hell to the highest glory currently. And I bet they're feeling on top of the world right now. Obviously, they are facing Bournemouth, I believe, next week. Let me just check my facts. I think I'm correct. Yeah, Bournemouth next week. Um, and I think they're going to win. I think it's going to be, and honestly, they've kept another clean sheet. Two clean sheets in your first two Premier League games as a manager is a very, very good thing, and two wins is also good. But two wins and two clean sheets in your first two games, I think, I can't speak, especially in the game against Man City, keeping a clean sheet is a very, very big deal and a very good thing. But Spurs did it last season. They got this win against Man City, and I don't know how, to be completely honest with you. But yeah, they won again at the Etihad. Spurs always annoyingly do well against Man City. But that's just one of those things. There are such thing as bogey teams. Um, and clearly Man City have got one in the form of Tottenham Hotspur. But this was a real statement win for Spurs. And who knows, maybe Man City will actually have a worse season than last season. Now, saying a worse season than last season, obviously Spurs, not Spurs, I'm talking about Man City, damn. But Man City had their worst season last season, and this is mental to say, their worst season consisted of finishing third and not winning anything. Now, if you take that in the context that that's their worst season, then yes, it's bad. But finishing third in the Premier League and saying that's a terrible season, it really isn't that bad. I think most teams would kill to be in third in the Premier League, and Man City are going, yeah, that's our worst season ever. So it's like, bro, what do you mean? Oh, I swear to God. Obviously, if you watched the whole of last episode, you know I would not stop yawning. And I really hope that's not the case again in this episode. But Tottenham Hotspur, 2-0 over Man City. Really wasn't a good six. Oh my word. Last episode it was yawning. This episode it's just speaking simple English, I swear to God. Um, yeah, Man City really looked like they didn't want it and they didn't get it and they failed against Spurs at the Etihad again. Ah, it's a bad time to be an Arsenal fan. It actually isn't. We're going to get on to Arsenal later in the video anyway. Bournemouth, Wolves. I'm not going to lie, there's not really a lot to say about this game. Wolves don't look good early in the season because both of them have failed to. Why did I say both of them? I was going to talk about West Ham as well. Obviously, West Ham and Wolves haven't won their first two Premier League games. I think they're the only two teams to do that, which is a depressing thing. Oh my God. That was like a foghorn. What was that? Um, but yeah, 1-0 Bournemouth, Wolves. Not really loads to say about this game. Marcus Tavernier scored in 4 minutes, and then obviously the red card for Totti Gomez, which is 1,000,000% a red card. There was actually another red card in this match week that I will speak about later, because that is the final game that we're speaking about today. Um, but yeah, this game, I'm gonna be honest, was very boring. Um, they Bournemouth looked good. They looked good against Liverpool last week. If I'm being completely honest with you, they did look good. But it's Liverpool, and the thing about Bournemouth is they have some really good players, and they're all going to get big moves one day. And like this season, like the start of this season, Bournemouth lost their pretty much their whole back line. Oh my god. Oh my word. Why am I yawning so much? This is really annoying. But anyway, yeah, Bournemouth lost pretty much their entire back line. They lost Kirkez, Huijsen, and Zabarnyi. Um, and now they're left with who? What was their? I'm gonna tell you their back line for the start of this game, right? Are you ready? So going from, I'm gonna tell you the lineup last season and then the back line this season. The back line, yeah. Anyway, so last season you would have had Kepa and goal, who had a very good season by the way for Bournemouth last season. Perkez at left back, Zabarnyi and Hodgson as their two centre backs, and then maybe like Senesi at right back normally. Um, but now you've got at left back you have Truffert. I think it's how you say his name. Oh my god, are you joking? Yawning again, guys. I'm not gonna lie to you. I don't like yawning. Anyway, yeah, I think you pronounce his name Truffert or Truffert. I'm not completely honest. I'm not completely sure. But anyway, Senesi, Diakate, and then Smith at right back is a big, like, what's the opposite of progression? Is it degression? I think that's it. I'm not going to spend too long pondering on what the opposite of progressing is. Um, it is degress. Yeah, you degress. I'm pretty sure anyway, because pro and then yeah, amateur gress. You got progress and amateur gress. Get it? Professional, amateur, pro. No, no one's laughing. Okay. If you did laugh, thank you, because that made me feel so much better. But you didn't, so screw you guys. Um, but yeah, if you really like, if you look at the horror of their backline now compared to last season, it really doesn't look good. But they kept a clean sheet. Like it was against. Oh my god, I'm actually gonna die. Oh my word, yawning again. I'm actually gonna die. Anyway, it was against Wolves, which isn't massively difficult to do, but it is a clean sheet, which shows that maybe it isn't so bad. But yeah, I think Bournemouth are gonna lose Evan Nilsson one day. They're gonna lose Tavernier. They're gonna lose Semenyo and Tyler Adams. And then they're gonna have to bring some players in. But I do rate. I'm gonna give Bournemouth this right. I do rate Iriola as a coach. I was gonna call him Ariola, but that's the West Ham keeper. I do rate Iriola as a coach. I think he is very good, and the stuff that he's doing with Bournemouth last season and this season is very good. And I do. Right, this is gonna sound weird considering I just said they haven't won their first two Premier League games. But I genuinely do think that Vitor Pereira is a very good coach. Obviously, you lose Eight Nowry and Nelson Semedo's gone and Cunha's gone, which was his best three players last season. But I do honestly think he is a good coach, and it's just if he can change something in the Wolves side, I honestly think that Wolves could be a good team. They might need a new keeper, considering that Jose Sar's about 1 million years old and is still their goalkeeper. But yeah, I think that Wolves could be a very good team, and I rate Vitor Pereira very highly. But yeah, 1-0 Bournemouth against Wolverhampton Wanderers. Now this game was a shock to me. I don't know if it was to anyone else. I can assume it was considering their last performance. But Brentford somehow pulled off a draw against Aston Villa, who got I don't know why I said it like that to be fair, lads. Aston Villa against Aston Villa, and they pulled off a draw against Newcastle last game week. Villa did. And it was the new boy, Dango Otara, who scored for Brentford. I think he's actually going to be a good signing. But comparing this game to Brentford's last game, it's a big step up. and it really is a big step up for Brentford against Villa. I don't really know what happened with Villa this game because they're like Villa didn't really look incredible in many parts of it, and neither did Brentford. Neither team looked like they had full control of the game, but it does matter about the scoreline. 1-0 to Brentford. That's all you need to know. That's all we eat. That's all we eat. What do we eat? Why are we eating this? But that's all we need to know. It was 1-0 to Brentford. Neither team seemed like they had control. But I want to Deve. What am I saying today? Why are words not coming up normally for me? But I think I want to go deeper into Villa's game. I don't know what it was about Villa this game. They really didn't look like they had a foothold at any point. And I don't know if it is because of Brentford's absolutely, like, it was just weird. It was a really weird game to watch because Keith Andrews isn't a genuinely amazing coach. He's not very good with the press, but again, like I did say that last week, and it will just come with experience. But yeah, Keith Andrews maybe has they who knows? You know what? I'm gonna say this, and I'm gonna say this with pride. I think Brentford, that at the end of this season and the start or the whole of next season, are gonna get Europe. Okay? And I've said it, and I'm not ashamed to say it, okay? I think that the end of this season, so let's say in the span of 10 games, I think they're gonna win 8 of them. So they're gonna win 8 of their last 10, and then next season they're gonna be challenging for Europe, which will be very good for Keith Andrews' confidence and for the team's confidence. Villa, I'm not so sure that they will be challenging for Europe this season, considering that they've got 1 point out of 6. Obviously, they got the one against Newcastle and they lost this game. Like Villa looked good last season. Okay, I'm just gonna say it. They nearly beat that PSG squad to go through in the Champions League and to face Arsenal, but they didn't. And then we lost to PSG, and then PSG won the Champions League, and then the Super Cup, and then every other trophy that they could win. But they couldn't beat Chelsea actually, so they didn't win the Club World Cup because they're stupid idiots. But I think Villa are a good team, and they are, and they've got a good coach. But this game, they just didn't look like they wanted it. And maybe that's their maybe they just felt bad for Brentford and they just wanted to give them a win. You know what I mean? They saw last game and they went, "Oh, they're not very good," and then they went, "You know what, lads? We'll give you 3 points just to make you feel better. Take from the rich, give to the poor people. Always a good thing to learn in life. Um, be grateful." Next is Burnley against Sunderland. Hold on, lads. I need a drink. My mouth is going extremely dry. I need a drink. Just bear with for literally 2 seconds. Alright, we're back. Anyway, 2-0 Burnley against Sunderland. And I'm just gonna say this. I wasn't expecting it. I was expecting Sunderland to win. I'm not gonna say they were gonna wipe the floor with Burnley, because I don't think that was ever gonna be the case. But, like, Sunderland last week looked good against West Ham. And even though I said all the shit about sorry for the language, I did not mean to use that. Like, that is the right word, isn't it? Ghastly? Is that how you describe something that's horrible or bad? Ghastly. I hear Gordon Ramsay use it a lot, so I'm just going to assume it is. Um, but, yeah, Burnley, I wasn't expecting them to beat Sunderland, considering the... How... I'm struggling with words today, if I'm honest, people. How do you... Their performance? Their hold on, the word will come to me. I was gonna say performance. Quality. There we go. Considering both the team's qualities last season, see that I'm using big words now. But considering the team's qualities from last season, I was expecting Sunderland to beat Burnley. and for my FPL points to go up from Habib Diarra, but they didn't because he wasn't good. And I'm interested to see who's going to finish higher this season because I think this match will give Burnley confidence, and I think Sunderland are gonna pick the ball back up and run with it. Um, but yeah, I think they're both gonna have very good seasons. Let's just see who they've both got next week, okay? And yes, I am on my phone, okay? Don't kill me for that. I'm using facts from my phone. Man United Burnley is next week, and then also Sunderland Brentford, which I think will be a decent game, to be fair. So I'm not gonna say that they should be winning those games, but they should be winning those games. I'm joking. Um, but yeah, I think Burnley Sunderland was a decent game. There was some good. Oh my God, I'm struggling with words again. Decent moments. There we go. Yeah, there were some decent moments from both teams. Um, yeah, just both teams that got promoted. Also, here's a little fact for you lot. This is the first time since 2016 that all three promoted teams have won in the first two game weeks. So there you go. Um, I can't really remember who it was. I think it was Hull, Burnley, and I want to say Middlesbrough. It might have been Middlesbrough actually. Yeah, I think it was. Just bear with drink again. Gotta stay hydrated, kids. I don't know why I said kids. That was weird. But you gotta stay hydrated. Um, it's been really hot today. It's been quite weird. I mean, it's cooled down a bit now, but yeah. Anyway, we're going off the topic of football. I don't want to speak about the weather. I'm not on the news. Um, but yeah, I think that this was an alright game. There were some good moments. I'm excited to see all three relegated teams, apart from the one that we're going to get to soon, which I'm very excited to talk about. Um, I it might be the one after this. I think it might be, you know. So if I check, by the way, it was Burnley 2-0 against Sunderland because I went off track a lot there. But yeah, um, goals. You haven't explained the goals for any of the other games yet. Oh my word! Right. Brennan Johnson and Paulinia for the 2-0 against Man City for Spurs. I'm so sorry, everyone. Marcus Tavernier of 4 minutes to be the only goal in Bournemouth Wolves. And then we're going with Dango Otara 1-0 against Aston Villa for Brentford as the new boy scores on his debut. And then we've got Josh Cullen and I would just like to talk about Jaden Anthony's goal for 1 second because it was class. He's he's gone on a run and he's rounded the goalkeeper and then he's just put it high into the net so the defenders can't get in front. That is a goal of class and maturity for a player like Jaden Anthony. That is, and I'm gonna be real with everyone. I've always rated Jaden Anthony, and I've also always rated Marcus Edwards. So I don't know. Let me just check if he actually got game time. Marcus Edwards didn't get game time, which surprises me because I think he is pure class, pure class, pure proper class, class, class. But yeah, I think Marcus Edwards is class. Anyway, next game is one that I'm actually very excited to talk about. If you can guess it, I'm gonna give you £5, considering what I told you earlier in the video. I'm joking, I'm not gonna give anyone £5. Do you think I'm dumb? Do you think I'm stupid or dumb? Both, probably. They mean the same thing anyway. So, 5-0. Arsenal leads. Arsenal, and I might get a bit of hate for this one, okay? Arsenal didn't look amazing, okay? Because we didn't. And obviously, an early David Raya save was a big moment for us. Um, but yeah, I think considering that we won 5-0, we weren't at our best. I'm going to be honest, everyone. Um, goals were by. Let me just quickly do you the goal scorers because I know you want to know the goal scorers. Do you? Mate, in the back, right at the back there, I can see you right at the back. Do you want to know the goals? You do. All right, yeah, good. Because you're gonna learn them. So Timber with the first one, Bukayo Saka with the second one, Victor Gyökeres with the third one. And then we got Timber again for the fourth one. And then we have Gyökeres again for the fifth one. I am so happy that Gyökeres got his 2 goals, by the way, because that just proves to everyone. And I really liked his celebration for the first one, where he did all the hair flicks. So people are like, oh, he had more hair flickers. Flickers? What the hell? What flickers? What is my English doing today? Does my English not work? I didn't pass English in GCSE, to be fair, so. But if we're all being honest about English GCSE, it's just terrible, isn't it? Like, I don't care about what Romeo and Juliet did yesterday on the balcony. Do you know what I mean? It's just pointless. But anyway, yeah, I think this was a good game, kind of. Now, I'm gonna be honest. I've gone off the highlights for this game, and off what my dad has said, and off what my girlfriend has said. Okay, people, don't slaughter me for that. But apparently we didn't, and we didn't by the look in the highlights, the extended highlights, by the way, not the normal highlights, because they only really show the goals. By the extended highlights, we didn't look great. Obviously we scored 5, and that is always a very good thing. That's always a morale booster in games. Um, but I wouldn't say we played horribly, but we didn't play to what we normally can, you know? And yeah, I'm happy that Gyökeres got his 2, because then all the Gyökeres haters can just shut up about how he's not going to score many this season. I have seen people fluctuate between goals this season for Gyökeres. I've seen people say 15. I've seen people say 25. I think, and this is a very big statement, by the way, and I don't know how many of you are even going to listen to the podcast after I say this. I think Gyökeres is going to score 27 Premier League goals this season. Now, you can say in the comments 0 ball knowledge, but I'm going to stand by that statement, and you're all going to be feeling stupid after he does get exactly that amount. It's 27 plus. Okay? I've said it. You can judge me all you want, but after he scores that many, you're all going to be feeling like a bunch of little idiots, aren't you? I just know you are. So don't come crying to me when Gyökeres scores 27 plus and you go, oh, well, actually, he scored this many. I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear about penalty goals. I don't want to hear it, all right? He scored 2. You got to have composure from the penalty spot, okay? But yeah. Anyway, rant over. But there was. I'm going to speak about one more positive and then I'm going to go on to the 2 negatives. Well, it's 1 negative, but 2. There's, yeah, 1 negative, but 2 if. Yeah. Anyway, the big thing about this game, before a ball was even kicked, before a ball was even touched. That sounds a bit odd. But anyway, before a ball was even touched, Eberechi Eze walked out onto the Emirates Stadium pitch, also known as the carpet, I believe. People call it the carpet anyway. I don't know how true that is. But Eberechi Eze walked out, and he looked like the happiest man in the bloody world. If you did watch the game, Eberechi Eze walked out, 67.5 million. He was sat in the stands and he's very happy to be an Arsenal player. And I'm very happy to have him as an Arsenal player because I love Eberechi Eze so much. And I think he's going to bring a bit of class to Arsenal as well, you know. And I hope Martin Odegaard isn't, not intimidated by it, but isn't scared by the signing of Eze. And the reason I say that is because Eze is a very creative-minded player and he plays as a cam. If you don't know what cam is, it's a central attacking midfielder. Um, but I don't know if that is going to put pressure on Odegaard, maybe to perform a bit more. I hope it doesn't, because Martin Odegaard, if you put Odegaard and Eze onto the same team, and they're both on their best like form on that day, that is 2 lethal players that you've got. And then you add Saka and Gyökeres, and not Martinelli, because I'm going to get onto Martinelli after the point. But if you have both of them on their best days on the same team, that is deadly. because they're both so creative and they're both so classy and they're both so good at football. And yeah, Eberechi Eze signed for 67.5 million after we hijacked him from Tottenham Hotspur. Tottenham. Tottenham were going for Eze. Tottenham were going to get Eze. It was pretty much on the brink of being done. And then we swoop in and we steal him. And he is actually, for people who didn't know, a yawn's coming back, by the way. Foghorn back, by the way. Um, Eberechi Eze is a boyhood Arsenal fan and was playing for the academy, but got let go at 13. Now I'm going to quote Eze. This is a quote from Eze. I'm not making it up. You go watch the interview if you don't believe me. But he said that when he used to come to the Emirates as a Crystal Palace player, he felt like he was on trial at Arsenal. So he's been on trial. He said to Ian Wright in an interview, I've been on trial for 4 years. And I'm very happy that he said that because that just shows the passion that he has for Arsenal and how much he does actually want to play. Um, but now we get on to the bad side of it all. And the bad side is Martin Odegaard and Saka are injured. There's a yawn, by the way. Wait. Yep, there we go. Yawn done. Um, but Odegaard and Saka both got injured, and that makes me sad because those are two of our best players injured forever, never ever coming back. I hope they are. But it's confirmed that Saka is going to miss the Liverpool game, which is a big, big loss. And I'm going to predict our 11. Actually, you know what? At the end of this episode, I'm going to predict everyone's starting 11 for next game. Yeah, yeah, I'm going to do that, and I'm going to do it with bloody pride on my fingers. What? Pride in my fingers? Anyway, yeah, I'm going to predict everyone's starting 11 at the end. But I think losing Saka is a. Hmm. Do I want to say this? I feel like I've already made one or two hot takes in this video. Do I want to make this? Yeah. I think losing Saka is a bigger loss than losing Odegaard. And I say that because in the first game, I think, and in this game, I think Saka had a bigger impact than Odegaard. Now, I'm not saying Odegaard is a isn't a big miss because he is. He's the captain. He is a big miss. But I think that Saka is kind of irreplaceable in the team. Obviously, we have Noni Madueke, and I think that what we're going to do next game is it's going to be Eze on the left, and then we're going to start Nwaneri down the middle. Or what we could do is we could bring Martinelli back. It's I don't really want that to happen though. Or we could put Leo on the left and then move Madueke onto the right. Anyway, I think it's going to be Madueke on the right, Eze on the left, and then we're going to put Nwaneri. Or we could bring on Max Dowman. We could start Max Dowman, you know. He's been so close to scoring in pre-season, and I think the penalty that he won in this game should have been given to Max Dowman, as he won it, and he could have scored his first goal at the Emirates, which would have been a magical moment for him. But Gyökeres was greedy and took it anyway. Gyökeres, if Max Dowman wins a penalty next time, you give it to him, okay? Because he'll score. I'm calling it. Max Dowman would score that penalty. Um, but yeah, I think there is a number of players who could start next game. And I think the injuries won't hit as hard as they did last season. Because of the quality that we now have, I think it's better. And then obviously a big talking point of this game is the Max Dowman is the Max Dowman debut. At 15, he is the second youngest player to appear in a Premier League game. Guess who the first one was? I'll give you 10 seconds to guess it. Um, hold on. Three, two, one. Bosh. Right, those 10 seconds are up. Um, put your guesses now. Anyway, um, yeah, Ethan Nwaneri was the first. So it's Nwaneri, then Dowman, and I don't really care who third is. Why does this keep happening? If someone is if someone can do spells in the comments, can someone please stop making me yawn? That would be incredible to see and to have, actually. Imagine if you didn't yawn for like your whole life. Imagine how amazing that would be. That would be great though, wouldn't it? I think the only yawn that you should do in the morning, and like when you yawn in the morning, has anyone ever had that yawn where they yawn and then their legs start to shake? It's like, bro, that is the most incredible feeling possibly ever that anyone's ever had, ever. Like, ever, ever. Forever, ever, ever. Ever, ever. My name's Ever, and I am a absolute madman. I don't know why I just broke out into song and dancer. I didn't dance though, I did the song bit, I didn't do the dance bit. Um, but yeah, I think, what was I even talking about? Was I talking about the weather? No, I wasn't talking about the weather. Anyway, um, it's because I said ever, ever, and then I was like, oh yeah, weather rhymes with ever. So, yeah. Um, but Max Downman is class. And if you don't think he's one of the best youngsters coming through at the moment, then you're absolutely stupid. Stupid. I can't speak, guys. I can't speak today. I don't know what's been going on. I can't speak. I wasn't able to speak all day today. Not able to speak, but like I've been messing up my speech. There you go. Yeah. 'Cause it sounds like someone had me kicked if I said I can't speak. Um. Oh my word. Guys, I keep yawning. Help. Like I said, if someone can pass that spell, then please do. Um, but yeah, this was a good performance by Arsenal. Not our best. I really hope we come back with a better performance against Liverpool. But other than that, it was good. I enjoyed it. Eberechi is going to be a very, very good signing for us at the Liverpool game. I think he's going to start. I'll be honest. I think he's going to start the Liverpool game. Right, we're coming into the last four games, so just watch out, okay? 1-1, Crystal Palace, Nottingham Forest. Selhurst seemed to be wrecking, by the way. I didn't get to watch this game. I watched maybe the first 20-25 minutes, and then me and my parents had to go somewhere, so I didn't get to watch the rest of it, sadly. But Crystal Palace scored first. It's Myla Sarr. Now before we left, there was a big chance for Ismaila Sarr, and Crystal Palace did seem on the ball, to be fair to him. But Forest were very foresty. They didn't let their branches take over. You see where I'm going? You see the forest jokes coming back in? Yeah? Did you like them? Tell me that you did, so then I can feel better about myself. Did you like the forest jokes? Mate, at the back, did you like my forest joke? Yeah? Cheers. Um, but yeah, I think Forest should have. No, actually, Palace should have won this game. Palace, Palace. I love Palace. I think they are doing very well. The main reason I love Palace is because they gave us Eze. But anyway, um, I think Palace are genuinely going to be it. Are they going to do it? I think they're going to win the Conference League, and I think they're going to get Europe next season. And if they do, then they're going to get. Okay, I'm going to say this, right? If you win the Conference League, you get automatic Europa League. I'm assuming. Okay, I'm assuming here, just because of how the Europa League works as well. I'm going to assume you get automatic Europa League. If Crystal Palace don't get the Europa League if they win the Conference League, then it's stupid. That double owner rule is absolutely stupid because you have a team who won the FA Cup and were deservedly in the Europa League, right? If you win the FA Cup, you go into the Europa League. It's as simple as that. It's an easy thing to go about. And then you have Leon who got relegated. Um, I think it was because of money reasons, I believe. Don't quote me on that, but I think it was money reasons. They are now in League. I'm gonna say League Dos, but that sounds more Spanish than French, no? But it is League Or. League. I don't know what that. What did I just do? League. Oh, League Un. League Un. Just so I can stop myself from doing that weird noise, I'm gonna say League Un. And then, yeah, it must be League DOS. But we're gonna say League Two. But no, because now if I say League Two, it sounds like I'm talking about someone like Doncaster Rovers. League DOS is what we're gonna call it. So if you ever hear me say League DOS, I'm referring to the French one. If you hear me say League Two, I'm referring to the English one. Now, if I say La Liga 2, I'm referring to La Liga 2. And Bundesliga 2 will be the Bundesliga 2. But you understand what I'm saying. Anyway, League DOS is where Lyon are currently, but they're in it. They are actually in the Europa League, even though they're playing the second tier of French football. Um, and yes, they are going to come back up. I know that, but because how can they not come back up? But yeah, it's silly. It's very silly, and I think if you're going to give the man a ban for the rule or the honor rules, I'm so sorry to anyone who might sound like that. Actually, that was very bad of me. I apologize to all ethnicities, every single one of them, black, white, and ginger. Whose car alarm's going off outside? I was gonna say, can you hear that? But obviously you can't. Someone's car alarm's going off outside. Anyway, um, yeah, I think Palace are going to be a very, very good team, and they need to be into Europa League. Obviously, they're not. They're in the Conference League, and I think Forest are gonna sack Nuno, and Mourinho is actually a replacement to come in for Nuno, which I think is a weird person to bring in for the Premier League job. Mourinho's tactics haven't changed in about 25 years. Um, but yeah, it's a weird one, man. It's a really weird one, but we'll see. But yeah, um, also, I want to talk about a certain man called Daniel Ndoye, who has got a goal and an assist in his first two Premier League games, which I think is a very, very good thing. Um, Now I'm going to talk about FPL because he's in my FPL team, but we're going to talk about that again at the end of the episode. So yeah, anyway, I think Daniel Ndoye has been very, very good to be a good signing. I think he's proved he is a good signing for Forest. Obviously, a goal in his first game and an assist in this game to Callum Hudson-Odoi's leveler. But yeah, I just think that Dan Ndoye is the right player to play in that Nottingham Forest team. And I really hope if they do get a new manager and that he doesn't get pushed out of the team. On to the next game. Now, if anyone can guess the next, I'm not doing that. I can't be asked. Everton Brighton 2-0 Everton. Jack Grealish with 2 assists for Iliman Ndiaye and James Garner at the Hill Dickinson Stadium. Obviously, the new stadium for Everton. They finally played in it, and they got their first win in it, and it was actually a very good performance by Everton on Brighton. They just seemed motivated. They seemed like they needed to win this game, otherwise, it's like, okay, it's like they were playing this game like a cup final, and Jack Grealish was the heart of this performance. Um, and I'm sorry, right? I've got to speak up James Garner's goal. James Garner has got a rocket on his foot, on his. Oh my! You see what I mean by not being able to speak correct English? Has anyone else had one of those days where whatever they say just goes wrong? Because I'm having one of those days. Um, but yeah, I think James Garner's got a rocket on his foot, and it might not, the fire might not have gone out yet. He might still have a rocket on his foot. We'll see next game. I'm very intrigued to see how he adapts as a player and as a fullback, because obviously he's not a natural fullback. Not like someone like Kieran Trippier is, or to be fair, Ben White isn't even a natural centre, or no, yeah, fullback. But he's not a Kieran Trippier, and he's not a, oh, here we go, Serge Aurier. I bet you forgot about him, didn't you, lads? Serge Aurier or someone like that. You know what I mean? But he's not a natural fullback, and he played really well as a fullback. And I think with Jared Brantwaite obviously still out, I think he's going to do very well at fullback. Um,
But yeah, I think Everton as well are going to be another team that are going to do well this season, and I'm very excited to see how they actually are because David Moyes is obviously a good manager, and under him they could do some damage, man. They could do some damage to teams, and I think Jack Grealish was the correct signing. He just seems like he fits into that Everton team really well,
And so does Kiernan Dewsbury-Hall, to be fair. Kiernan Dewsbury-Hall showed that he is a good player. And obviously, another big talking point of the game was Pickford's penalty save. And it was a decent penalty save, to be fair. I mean, the penalty wasn't great, but the save itself was a good one from Pickford. Um, but yeah, man, it was just an assured performance by Everton to make their fans feel a bit more safe about the season and the whole Jack Grealish signing and stuff like that, you know? But yeah, Everton 2, Brighton 0. The scorers, Iliman Ndiaye and James Garner. I think that was good. Man United and Fulham was obviously 1-1, and the Hale End boys saved Fulham here with Alex Iwobi assisting Emil Smith-Rowe's goal. Um, I'm sad that Smith-Rowe doesn't still play for us, to be honest with you. I think he was such a good player. But anyway, he's performing now at Fulham, and that's all that matters. Um, United can't finish their chances. Okay? And it's obvious. It is so obvious now that they can't finish their meal. And I don't even feel bad for them. Because Sesko came on, didn't look particularly incredible. He didn't seem to inspire the players. And yes, I get that he's still young, but like with all the hype that was going around him, he doesn't seem to be living up to it. And I think he'll be a good signing in the future, don't get me wrong. He's obviously still young, he's still 22, 23, and I think he's going to be a good signing in a few seasons' time. Not like next season or this season, but maybe 2, 3 seasons' time. I think he's going to be a good signing. But in Buemo and Cunha, I think attacking wise, that was one of United's best performances. But it was like a bit like us. They had a good attacking performance, but just couldn't finish their food. And it's good that you can attack, but when you can't finish your food, it's not a good thing. If you can hear steps, by the way, that's my dog. Hello, dog. How are you, dog? I'm not going to reveal dog's name, so I'm just going to call dog dog. Dog! No, dog's leaving. Anyway, um, yeah, I think United also need a new midfielder. You can't settle for Casemiro in midfield anymore. You really can't. And also, I would like to say that playing Bruno as a 6 does not work. Bruno is one of the most creative players in the league, and playing him as a 6 because you love Mason Mount too much is not it, Ruben. It really isn't. And you need to change it, man. He needs to change it, otherwise, like two games in, 2 points out of a possible 6 that you could have grabbed is just it's bad, and it doesn't look good for Amorim. If he doesn't start picking up results, I don't know what will get him to start doing that. Um, unless he gets threatened with getting sacked. Do you know what I mean? But yeah, like I said, we're gonna see. We'll see what happens. But they need to finish their food, and they need to get a new midfielder. Like I've seen talk that they might get Carlos Baliba. I don't think they will. Um, personally, but they need a midfielder like that. Maybe like Tchouaméni, that'll be a good signing for them. Someone like that who is a versatile midfielder and can defend and attack. Box to box is what we like to call them. But like yeah, I think saying also Ruben Amorim saying that Kobbie Mainoo has to fight Bruno for his place is just like terrible. I think that's a really bad thing to say because Kobbie Mainoo is never going to get in the team now if he has to fight against Bruno Fernandes to get into the team, apart from just sticking him in for Casemiro, who's like 100 million years old. Yeah, I I really just think that it's just silly from Ruben Amorim. Just put Kobbie Mainoo in for Casemiro. It'd be such a better switch than to say, yeah, you've got to fight for Bruno for his spot. So United need to finish their chances. They need to get a new midfielder, and Fulham, there's not really a lot that I can say about them. They seemed alright. They scored. Cool. Yeah. Um, the scorers, by the way, was a Munoz own goal and an Emil Smith Rowe goal, which makes me happy because I really like Smith Rowe. Now this game, that's all I need to say. Obviously we're on the last game. Now this game had some drama. Drama. Um, Liverpool Newcastle. Newcastle were all over Liverpool. I would just like to say that first and foremost. Newcastle were all over Liverpool, and it seemed like Liverpool couldn't handle it, and Newcastle probably couldn't handle it because they were never going to keep up that pace all game, and it was obvious they were like never ever going to keep up that pace all game. So 35 minutes in, and Gravenberch scores, and Newcastle's. I was expecting Newcastle's pace to slow down, but it didn't. And Anthony Gordon was at the forefront of it. And if you have Isak in those spaces that Gordon was in, they at least are 3-1 up at halftime. At least 3-1 up. Because Isak finishes those, but Gordon doesn't. And some of the crosses in by Alanga, by the way. And Harvey Barnes put a few decent ones in as well. They were so good. But not having a normal striker like Isak there, that's an issue. And they tried to need to. I think Isak will leave. He'll either leave and someone will be stupid enough to pay his price tag, or he just won't go at all. Um, but I think Newcastle will somehow keep him, and he'll play for the under 21s and then get forgotten about completely. Um, but yeah, obviously Ryan Gravenberch scores, and then actually Ekatike scored. Um, which is annoying because he's not in my FPL team. But I am thinking about it. I'm going to be honest with you, lads. I'm thinking about putting Ekatike in. Um, I'm going to see how he does in the next 3 weeks, and then I'm going to put him in. Because I don't want him. I don't want it to be like a situation that I had a few times last season where I put him in and then they just do nothing for a bit. So I'm going to see if he scores for like 5 weeks straight, and if he does, then I'm going to put him in. I hope he doesn't next week though, because he's against Arsenal. So maybe like if he blanks next week and then scores the next 2 weeks, then that's fine as well. Um, but I think yeah. So Gravenberch, Ekatike, and then one of the clearest red cards I've possibly ever seen in my life by Anthony Gordon, where he just kind of stamped on on Van Dijk's groin, um, because that's what you do normally. You stamp right on their groin, or yeah, is it the groin? Which bit's your groin? Is that your top bit? Oh, I can't remember now. But yeah, he stamped on the back of it. Yeah, there we go. I'll say that. He stamped on the back of his leg. Well, not stamped, but his studs. How do I explain the Gordon red card? It was a red card. What Gordon did. If you haven't seen it, go watch the highlights. But it was definitely a red card. But yeah, man, it was a good game. And then after that red card, Newcastle scored two. Bruno Guimaraes with an absolute banger, by the way. And then William Osula, who played the whole of the preseason as a striker, came on and bang, 88th minute. Whoa! Newcastle have come back 2-2. It's a draw, okay? Newcastle have got a draw against Liverpool, and then Liverpool with 99 minutes on the clock, I believe, or 98 minutes on the clock, go down the right hand side with Salah. Salah puts a cross in, Szoboszlai dummies it, and puts it on to 16-year-old Rio, and I'm gonna say a name, and correct me if I'm wrong, Ungamoa. Rio Ungamoa? I think I said that correct. Um, but yeah, man, that was that was a good moment, and that'll stick with him forever. Because it's actually a good finish as well. Because Pope's already going across, and he's not going to get back across to save that. If you're a very good keeper, you will, and Nick Pope is not a very good keeper. Um, but yeah, it like Rio
Ungamoa, I think, is genuinely gonna be a star. Um, and people can't say that he won't, because he will. He will. And so will Max Salmon. And if you put both of those two on a team together, that team, if they both get good game time in Arsenal and Liverpool respectively, um, those two are going to be unstoppable, man. Absolutely unstoppable. But that is every single game. This was a great game, by the way. Liverpool Newcastle. If you haven't watched it and you have Sky Sports, I would go watch the whole game from the beginning because it was just non-stop action. Such a good game. But I'm gonna move on to my FPL quickly. Um, I had a good week. I played my bench boost this week, which got me a total of a whole 6 points on my bench boost. From Kelleher and Robertson. Then McAllister. McAllister was weirdly out. I don't really know why. And then Branthwaite is still injured, which does not help me at all. But I got 2 points from Henderson, one from Kirkes, one from White Nowry, and then 5 from Kukurea. And you might be thinking, well, James, that's not very good. From those lot alone, you only have about 15. And yes, I do. But just listen. And then Diarra got me 2 and Cherky got me 1, which again, you might be thinking, well, lad, that's still not very good. But listen, Saka then got me 6. Rice then also got me 6. And then Fulku got me 1. And then Jean Pedro got me 15. And then my captain Gyökeres got me 24. So I got 70 points, which is 19 higher than the average this week. And in my family league, I am third. I am third. And I don't want to hear any slander from anyone about anything that I have just said. Alright? Now I'm going to leave out. There's a lot of teams to do. And I'm going to let the teams do all their stuff. Because if I say it and there might not, like, some players might be injured. And I don't want to hurt their feelings. I don't want to hurt their feelings. Oh my god, that was the worst thing I've ever said on this podcast. So, with that, swiftly, I am going to leave you, and I'm going to let you all be, and I'm going to let you listen to this, and I'm going to let my voice just absolutely sink into your ears and be one that never leaves. That's weird, isn't it? That is quite weird. But yeah, I hope you have a good day. I hope you enjoyed this game week, and I hope you enjoy the next game week, and the one after that, and the one after that, and the one after that. And I'll see you next week. I'll see you later. Goodbye.